The 3 types of sales calls to get you more clients now. Hi, I'm Sarah Leather from thesarahleather.com and you're so welcome here today. Now, you're probably familiar with the term sales calls, and they're often dressed up and written down as strategy sessions, discovery calls, clarity calls, or some other kind of sales call. And basically they're a way of getting potential clients onto the phone to take them through a process and see whether they're right for your program or package. These are used in service-based industries to really help you to do the work that you want to do with your clients. So I'm going to talk about 3 different kinds of calls. The first one is research calls, the second one is free sessions, and the third one is the sales calls, like I've just been talking about, the strategy sessions, clarity calls, discovery sessions, or whatever you like to call them. So research calls, the first one, are not actually sales calls, but research calls are really useful to be doing in your business quite regularly, just for you to be checking in with your ideal clients on what they're looking for from you. Particularly if you've branched out maybe into a new niche, or you've sort of changed something somewhere in your business, or you just want to check back in again with what people are looking for from you. Maybe you've stopped selling, or maybe something's not quite working and you're not sure what it is. There's nothing better than getting on the phone with people to do research calls. Yes, you can do it via a survey, a free survey, using something like Typeform or SurveyMonkey, but it's actually much better to get people on the phone and speak to them and listen and hear what they're saying. Have half a dozen questions, 6 to 10 questions works really well prepared, and message people that you think could be in your ideal client bracket and say, hey, I'm working on some research for a new area of my business. I'm wondering if you'd be free for 20 minutes to have a Skype coffee date, and so I could run by some questions. It won't take very long. Most people say yes, and you have your questions prepared and you write down the answers or record the sessions so that you've got them all written down. So you ask them questions like, what's their number one problem in a particular area at the moment? What keeps them awake at night? What brings them into a sweat? What would they pay for getting it fixed? What would they pay even more for? Ask them questions like that. What this problem is costing them in other areas of their life, and maybe what they've tried already to fix this problem, and anything that they are planning to do in the future. And are they looking for help for that problem? And how urgent is it that they get help with that problem? So you can get yourself a lovely bunch of information. Now, there is potential for these calls to lead on to a sales call, but out of integrity, you need to keep a research call as a research call and not go into selling, even if they indicate that. If they do indicate they want to hear more about your product or program or how you could help them, you can say that's absolutely fine. You'd love to share that information with them, but out of integrity, this was a research call that you'd booked in. Now, if they are free, if they have a spare sort of another 30 minutes, you could tell them about that, but it'll be a different conversation. But we can do that now. We could schedule it for this time tomorrow, and with their permission they say, okay, yeah, I'd love to hear about it now. So okay, we'll just complete the research call, thank you so much for that. And so what is it? And then you move on to really hearing where they're stuck. Tell me more about this, tell me more about this, tell me more about this. And then you can then move on into more of a sales conversation with them. So that's the first type of call, a research call. The second type of call is your free session, a free mini session. And by mini, I mean not too long. A lot of mistakes I see other coaches, health practitioners and service-based professionals do is they offer really long free sessions, maybe an hour and a half. And basically it's like giving them the whole buffet. They've had the whole thing served up to them, and they need to go away and digest that for a few hours or weeks or months even, because they've had enough. So although you're not going to be sort of solving all of somebody's problems, if you give them too much, it's not going to help them to want to go on to work with you, and you are not doing them a service by giving them too much and not giving them the support moving forward with it. And also, you're running a business. You're not running a free charity where you're just giving away your stuff for free all day, every day. So these free sessions are like a taster session. They're like a little bit of a start, a little bit of a taster, so they can see, does that feel right? Do I feel like this is the good energy for me to be around? Do I feel like this is what I'd like to eat more of in the buffet afterwards? So the free sessions, structure them so that you're solving one problem for them. So let's say you're going to help them overcome, you have a free mini session around helping them to overcome emotional eating so they never have to diet again. And you can help them to solve one problem around that, or get clarity around where they're stuck around it, or really help them with something. And you can then, but the way to make those different from a research call, from a sales call, is at the beginning of the conversation. You frame it in saying, today I'm going to help you to solve one problem that you've brought with you to this call, and I'm going to give you the support and advice that I can for that problem in the time that we have available. And if I feel like I can help you further past this mini session, I'll let you know about that. Is that okay? And then you're getting their permission to tell them about your program or your product, whatever it is that you're selling, after you've helped them out. So that's a free session. They're great things to do if you're stuck and you're not getting on the phone with enough people. Go and offer your free sessions. So that's the second one. So we've had the first one with the research call. The second one is your free mini sessions. And the third one is your more traditional sales calls or strategy sessions, clarity calls, discovery sessions. So with these, this is a whole new process altogether. So they're not a free coaching session. You're not doing research on them, but you are getting clarity from them for what they're looking for. So the intention of these is to discuss working together. They're the first stage of that, and this is an area where I coach my clients around, and this is an area where I go into really deeply in my signature program, Get More Clients. And what I'd like to share with you now is that when you learn to do these sessions really well, you will have so much joy in selling your services. So these sessions start off with you really becoming the leader in the conversation, and you tell them that you know how the session's going to work, and then you get very clear on where they're stuck, and then clear on where they'd like to get to, because people will hire you when you can fill that gap between where they're stuck and where they want to get to. And you do that by listening exquisitely deeply to where they're stuck, and then asking the questions that you need to ask to see where they want to get to, and then really articulating how you could possibly be the person that will help them get from where they're stuck to where they want to get to. And then you move into your offer part of the call only once they have really shown that, yeah, you sound like, this sounds like, yeah, really good, you could really help me with this. You know, they get this like internal knowing that you're the right person for them. And then when you move into the offer, it's not like you're selling to them at all. It's like you have these exquisite conversations with them that are very, I call them kind of wholehearted sales, that you do it with an open heart, that it's not about you pushing your stuff on there, it's not about you being slimy or sleazy or used car salesman or any of those cliches. It's about you really holding the space for them and hearing them, knowing where they're stuck, and then moving in with their permission to the offer stage. And then being okay with whether it's a yes or whether it's a no. The aim for a sales conversation is to get a clear yes or a clear no, not a maybe. Maybe's never good energy to be around. There's confusion, there's doubt. If they go away with doubt, they just think about that doubt and what they're confused about and get even more confused. So you want to help them to get to the point and you deal with objections. It's something I work in my program very closely with people about dealing with objections that come up along the way. Things like, I can't afford it, I don't have enough time, I'll have to check with my partner, this has never worked for me in the past, anything else that they come through. Because more often than not, what the actual problem isn't any of those things. The problem, it can be sometimes, it certainly can be, but not always. When someone says, I can't afford it, sometimes it is a budgetary problem. They actually do not have the money. More often than not, with that and other objections, it's they just don't see the value in what you're offering. And that doesn't mean to say that there's not value in what you're offering. It just means to say that it hasn't been articulated. And that's done earlier on in the conversation. So that's what I'd like to share to you today, with the 3 ways, the 3 conversations that you can have to help you get more clients: the research calls, the free mini sessions, and your free sales calls. So one thing I'd like to leave you with as we finish off is that 50% of the sales are in the follow-up. So never be disheartened if somebody leaves a call saying, I'm not sure, or I need to think about it, or it's a no for now, because very often a couple of weeks or a couple of months later, they come back with a yes when you follow up with them. So for me, Sarah Leather from thesarahleather.com, thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now. If you have any questions, pop them below, please. And do visit me at thesarahleather.com and get your free cheat sheet on how to get clients now. Bye for now.